Imagine this. You go to a garage sale, you find a perfectly good coffee mug. The seller wants $2. You think, maybe $1.50. Now, imagine someone gives you that same coffee mug as a gift. A week later, a friend offers to buy it from you for $2. Suddenly you're thinking, $2? No way! This mug is special. It's mine. I wouldn't sell it for less than $5. What just happened? It's the exact same mug, but the moment you owned it, its perceived value in your mind skyrocketed. This isn't just sentimentality. It's a powerful and often costly neurological glitch that makes you irrationally overvalue anything you possess. Welcome to Thrive with Tima. Today, we're exposing the invisible force that inflates your attachments and drains your potential. The Endowment Effect. The Endowment Effect describes our tendency to place a higher value on something simply because we own it. This means we'll demand a much higher price to sell something than we'd be willing to pay to acquire it, even if the item is identical. This bias was famously demonstrated by Daniel Kahneman, Jack Netsch, and Richard Thaler in their mug experiment, showing that owners consistently valued their mugs at roughly twice the price that non-owners were willing to pay. Why does our brain do this? There are several neurocognitive factors at play. First, loss aversion. Again, a powerful force we've discussed. Giving something up feels like a loss, and the pain of loss is neurologically more potent than the pleasure of an equivalent gain. If you sell something you own, your brain focuses on the pain of losing it, making you demand a higher price to offset the perceived pain. Second, psychological ownership kicks in almost immediately. When something is mine, it becomes intertwined with our identity, our memories, and our sense of control. This isn't just about money, it's about a deeper, more primal connection. Your brain literally maps it into your self-schema. Finally, there's status quo bias. Our brains prefer things to stay the same. Making a change, like selling an asset, requires effort and carries perceived risk. So the default, keeping what you have, feels safer and less cognitively demanding, even if it's not the optimal financial choice. The endowment effect isn't just about sentimental knickknacks. It has profound and often detrimental consequences for your investment portfolio, your asset management, and even your overall financial flexibility. First, it makes you hold on to losing investments for too long. Just like with the sunk cost fallacy, if you own a stock that's plummeted, the endowment effect makes you incredibly hard to sell. It's your stock. You chose it. You've held it. To sell it is to part with something you felt connected to, and to admit a mistake, which is a cognitive dissonance, and experience a tangible loss, which is loss aversion. This often means writing poor investments all the way to zero, rather than reallocating capital to better opportunities. Second, it sabotages your ability to sell assets at a fair price. Whether it's selling your old car, or your house, or even an antique, the moment it's yours, your internal valuation becomes inflated. You'll set an unrealistically high asking price, making it harder to find a buyer, delaying the sale, and forcing you to eventually sell for less than initially hoped after incurring additional costs. You're valuing it based on your attachment, not the market's reality. Finally, it creates financial clutter and inefficiency. This bias encourages hoarding. We keep things we don't need or use, old electronics, clothes, even sentimental but worthless items, because parting with them feels like losing something valuable. This leads to wasted space, mental clutter, or prevents you from monetizing assets that could be put to better use. To overcome the endowment effect, you need to create psychological distance from your possessions and evaluate assets with cold, hard rationality. Here are 3 neuro-hacks to do just that. Tool number 1. The buyer's mindset exercise. Whenever you're contemplating selling something you own, which is like an investment, a car, an old gadget, force yourself to adopt a buyer's mindset. Ask, if I didn't own this, what would I be willing to pay for it today? This mental trick bypasses the ownership bias. It makes you evaluate the item as if it were a stranger's, allowing for a more objective, market-driven valuation rather than an emotionally inflated one. Tool number 2. Frame selling as acquiring. Your brain hates loss, so don't focus on what you're losing when you sell. Focus on what you're gaining or acquiring with the proceeds. Instead of saying, I'm selling this underperforming stock, say, I'm selling this stock to acquire a position in a high growth index fund. Or I'm selling this old car to acquire more freedom from car payments. This cognitive reframe shifts the emotional emphasis from the pain of loss to the pleasure of gain and opportunity. And tool number 3, the 1 in, 1 out rule. For physical possessions that contribute to clutter, implement a strict 1 in, 1 out rule. When you buy something new, you must identify an equivalent item you already own to sell, donate, or discard. This prevents accumulation driven by the endowment effect and forces you to constantly reevaluate the true value and utility of your possessions. It trains your brain to be less attached and more discerning about what you choose to own. Ownership is a powerful psychological state. It creates comfort, but it can also blind you to true value and trap you with suboptimal assets. Your net worth isn't built on what you own, but on what you optimize. Break free from the psychological chains of your possessions. Evaluate with an objective eye and make your assets work for your future, not against it. If this episode just opened your eyes to why you can't part with that old thing, hit that subscribe button and share it with a fellow hoarder. We all know one. Thank you for joining me on Thrive with Tima. Now go see what you really own. Love you, mean it. Tima.